Hi everybody! So I have another drawing tutorial I want to show you. I want to show you how I draw stick figures. I think stick figures are probably the funnest thing there is to draw. They're so much fun, they're so dynamic, they show so much story, and they show a lot of character in a couple of very simple lines. So let me show you how I go about drawing stick figures. Alright, so let's get started here. When I draw my stick figures, I usually think about, the basic shape of a stick figure. And that's a head and legs, arms, kind of like, your classic stick figure. But what makes stick figures fun is when you start to do things with them. So let's have a character who is thinking about something. What does a thinking about character look like? Something like that, maybe? And then you draw a little what are they thinking about? Maybe you want to have a character who's running. And a great way to show this is like this. They're really stretching their body as fast as they can. And they're running as fast as they can. Maybe they're winning the race and they're very proud of themselves. You could also have a character who's running in that same pose, but they're afraid of what's behind them. Or you could have a character who's jumping. When you draw stick figures, you really think about what the character's doing and how you can best show it. Maybe they're just standing there. Maybe they're lying down, relaxing in the sun. Maybe they're trying to get noticed and they're waving their arms around like this. What you can do with a stick figure is pretty much the beginning of how to tell a story. You could have a character picking something up. Kind of looks like they're doing a cartwheel. Handstand. But what I would like to show you is how you can start to tell a story with just a stick figure. And this is something I learned how to do when I was younger, and this is kind of the beginning of how I started to realize that you could tell stories through art. So we just have a character, they're just going about their day, and then all of a sudden, they're like, And then suddenly they're like, what is that? And then they start running. They start running so hard, stretching their legs out. So you can start to see a character. And it's this motion that you can start to tell in a story. And another thing when we talk about motion, especially in stick figures, is lines. What are all these lines? What can you do with these lines? Maybe a character is stretching for something. Maybe a character is stretching. tying their shoe. You can, with these simple lines, these simple gestures, you can start to show a lot of story in these poses. And it's these dynamic lines that really start to give your character life. And this is the same kind of form of storytelling that when you start to do something visual, that really starts to show a lot of character. So just a couple lines and just a couple facial expressions, you can start to get these very dynamic characters and very dynamic moments. And I would definitely think about how you can take a character who's just static and how you can make them move with just a few lines. And this is when you can start doing some really cool things. And I would start with doing stick figures, because stick figures are so much fun. And what you can do with them is honestly limitless. So I can't wait to see what you guys can create.